So you're probably watching this because you want to be able to use the virtual physical laboratory from Dr John Nunn on a Mac. It used to be possible to do this with an app called WineBottler. Unfortunately, this hasn't been updated for more recent Macs, so if you're running Catalina or Big Sur, you won't be able to do that anymore as far as I can see. Fortunately, there is a way around this using an app called PlayOnMac. Now, PlayOnMac, you can see playonmac.com, is a free piece of software. If you go to its website and go to the download link, you'll want to download version 4.4.3 or whatever the current version is when you watch this. Importantly, you want the version that runs on the later versions of macOS, not the earlier ones. I've already downloaded and installed PlayOnMac and I've got it running here. I've also got my VPLab zip file here from version 17 that was just sent out recently. I'm going to just double click on that to unzip it into a folder. And I'm going to go to PlayOnMac and I'm going to click on Install a Program. Now, VPLab, as far as I'm aware, won't be listed anywhere in the default menu, so we're going to go to Install a Non-Listed Program. There's a couple of little warning messages that we can ignore here. And it brings up a wizard, and once I got to this window here, I want to click to install a program in a new virtual drive. And I want to give that a name, so I'm going to call that VPLab 17. I'm going to leave all of these unticked and click Next. If you don't have Wine installed, as far as I can see, it seems to come packaged with it and it'll work it out for itself. I'm going to select 64 bits Windows installation. I haven't tried 32, but 64 certainly works. Wait a few minutes while it creates a virtual drive. And you can see that behind the scenes it appears to be using Wine here, but WineBottler, as I say, which was what we used to use to run VPLab, doesn't work anymore. And it doesn't take too long before it prompts for a setup file to run. Now, unfortunately, what it's looking for is some sort of Windows setup file that will install VPLab, but there isn't one because you don't need one. So instead of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Browse, and I am going to go into VPLab here, and I'm just going to give it something that it can run. It doesn't really matter what, but it needs to be a Windows executable file. So I'm just going to drag VPLab 17 into this window here and click Open. Now what it'll do is it'll run VPLab 17 inside the Windows environment, which isn't very helpful because it won't work at the moment, but it does allow us to get past that screen, which otherwise we wouldn't be able to because there's no option to skip it. So it will try and run VPLab, although it won't work fully yet. This time it is working fully, last time it didn't. So I'm now going to exit out of that. And the next thing it's going to prompt me for is to create a shortcut. Now this is going to be the shortcut to the vplab.exe file. But at first, before I do run that, I need to copy the VPLab folder into the Windows virtual folder structure it's created. So I'm going to click Browse here and click Browse here. And what it's done is it's brought up a drive C, which if you look at this is sitting in my library. So it's a folder structure that PlayOnMac's created in my library. And what I want to do is I'm going to want to copy this into this folder. So I'm going to right click on our Program Files x86 folder and go Show in Finder. So that'll bring up that folder in the OS X Finder, sorry, the macOS Finder. And once I'm in this Program Files x86 folder, I'm going to just drag VPLab 17 and drop it into there. It's going to disappear from my Downloads folder now. So that's now in the Windows file structure instead. I can close this Finder window, and if I now go back to my file selector from within PlayOnMac and I go into Program Files x86, I'll see VPLab 17 there, and I can scroll down and I can select VPLab17.exe. And if I click Next, shortcut name for VPLab17.exe, there we go. It's going to create a shortcut on my desktop. In fact, that was a shortcut already created there from the trial version I ran earlier. I haven't found this desktop shortcut works. but it might do for you. But I can still run VPLab 17 from within PlayOnMac. I'll just wait for it to finish off. Now I can create another shortcut to another app if I want to, so if you use my VPLab you can do that at this point, but I'm going to click I don't want to make another shortcut, and there we go, all installed. Now to make VPLab run, I need to open PlayOnMac, click on VPLab 17, and down on the left hand side here click Run, and if all is well, up will pop VPLab. There we go, it didn't register my click to start with, but we've got VPLab 17 all running fine here. And just to prove to you that it does work on a Mac, if I now go into one of the folders, pick one at random, here we go, I've got access to all the controls I'd normally have. One thing to note is I found one or two that appear to glitch slightly on a Mac. Hopefully they won't be the ones that you particularly want to use, but you might notice a couple of oddities, but most of them seem to work just fine.